This is SMNI News Channel. Truth that matters.
Prevailing against intense pressure, the Maisug Peace Rally pushed through in Dumaguete City. Former President Rodrigo Duterte stressed the importance of the right to peaceful assembly and that local governments do not have the power to prohibit such gatherings as it is protected by the Constitution. Meanwhile, the former president also conveys his trust in Senator Bato de la Rosa's investigation into the PDEA leaks. In Tuesday's hearing, actress Maricel Soriano, who was also linked in illegal drug use alongside Marcos Jr., finally speaks up to address the issue. Demonstrators from the Marcos Resign movement rallied in front of the Senate building, urging President Bongbong Marcos to step down. The protest took place during the PDEA leaks inquiry, and among those who joined were our Muslim brothers and sisters who expressed their woes and dissatisfaction against the administration. In other news, Japan and Germany are set to hold their first ever joint land forces drills set to take place next year, and we'll find out more about this later on. And hacking accusations continue to escalate, with Germany recalling Russia's envoy over the alleged cyber attack by Russian hackers. I am Angel Pastor. Newsline World starts now. First in our news, during a sectoral meeting at Malacanang Palace, officials discussed the issue of millions of Filipinos lacking proper access to clean water supply. They also tackled the directive to enhance multi-purpose dams in the Philippines. Resident Catarong has the details.
14 million Filipinos still lack access to clean water. Most of these people are from Mindanao, particularly from communities within the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao, or BARM. The primary sources of water for the 40 million termed underserved are flowing water, creeks, and rainwater. Department of Environment and Natural Resources, or DNR Secretary Maria Antonia Yulo Loizaga, shared during the Malacanang meeting that these residents without adequate water supply often resort to motorboats to fetch water from the nearest island. In a press briefing at Malacanang on Tuesday, DNR Undersecretary Carlos Primo David said that the agency has strategies to provide sufficient water supply to the 40 million individuals, most of whom reside in BARM. David mentioned that one of the strategies they are considering for small island barangays and other coastal areas is to provide them with water supply through the desalination process, which is the conversion of seawater to fresh water.
Para siyang pangsala na kung saan ay through pressure ay pipilitin na pumasok yung tubig dito sa membrane na to. At maiiwan dahil maliliit lang yung butas ng filter, maiiwan ang lahat ng salt. At ang lalabas lang ay yung fresh water.
When asked if desalination water is safe to drink, David said it is currently being used in Middle Eastern countries and some parts of the United States where there is insufficient fresh water supply. The DNR Undersecretary also said they already have a list of 65 island barangays where they will start the desalination process. Each plant costs 5 to 8 million pesos.
Good morning, everybody.
Meanwhile, Malacanang has ordered the continued development of dams by the National Irrigation Administration for agricultural irrigation, freshwater supply, electricity supply, and flood control. During the same briefing, NIA Administrator Eduardo Gillian revealed that they are focusing on multipurpose dams, with the Pantabangan Dam being one example.
Ma'am, huwag na tayong lalayo. Ito na lang sa ating Pantabangan Dam. Actually, mag-50 years na yan sa September. Ang laki po ng impact sa atin yan. In fact, last year, nagkaroon tayo ng malalaking bagyo. Yung Egay, Falcon, hindi ho nag-release ang Pantabangan Dam ng tubig. So imagine ang effect sa Central Luzon kung yung ating kung wala yung Pantabangan Dam.
Guillen also mentioned that he has already talked to Department of Public Works and Highways or DPWH Secretary Manuel Bunuan to collaborate on dam projects. In a sectoral meeting, officials discussed pooling their agency's resources to benefit dam projects and save on their implementation. This discussion formed part of the broader issue of water resources and management in the Philippines. The meeting underscored the importance of an integrated water resource master plan and managing water resources during El Nino, as well as addressing flooding during La Nina. Additionally, the DPWH presented the agency's flood control management programs.
I think we have to integrate our flood control management programs with the other sectors that so that the water that we manage in the flood control do not go to the sea directly, and to the extent possible that we have to conserve and utilize it for other purposes, like for irrigation, water supply, and power if necessary.
For 2024, the DPWH chief stated that the department's total budget for flood control projects, including both foreign-assisted and locally funded initiatives, exceeds 300 billion pesos. For God and for my beloved Philippines, this has been Cristalyn Catarong, SMNI News.
Japan and Germany will embark on their first ever joint ground force exercises in 2025. Guy Saito with a report.
For the first time, Japan's ground self-defense force will host the German army in the East Asian country next year. German Defense Minister Boris Pistorius revealed the joint exercises could take place in Japan in early 2025. The upcoming military drills will be the first of its kind between the ground forces of the two countries. The announcement of the joint exercises followed the signing of a defense agreement between the two countries. Germany plans to deploy a frigate, a supply ship, and aircraft in the Indo-Pacific region this year, with the military vessel expected to make a port call in Japan in August. Pistorius said Russia would theoretically be able to attack NATO territory in 5 to 8 years, citing forecasts from military experts. The German defense minister also suggested China's territorial claims in the South China Sea, as well as its military activities in the waters around Taiwan, was the reason for the drills. Japan and Germany also conducted their first ever joint Air Force drill in the Pacific waters in September 2022. Reporting from Tokyo, Japan, I'm Guy Saito, your global citizen correspondent for God and our beloved country, the Philippines.
Australia's national airline settled a regulator lawsuit by paying millions of dollars in penalty following the sale of thousands of tickets that were already cancelled. Trisha Molina has the details.
In August 2023, the Australian Competition and Consumer Commission launched legal proceedings against Qantas for advertising and selling thousands of tickets for domestic and international flights that had already been cancelled. The controversy stemmed from allegations that the airline sold approximately 8,000 tickets that were cancelled between May and July 2022. The so-called ghost flights fiasco put the national carrier under the spotlight and its reputation on the line. Both parties reached an agreement to settle the lawsuit on Monday. As part of the agreement, Qantas will pay a fine worth $100 million Australian dollars and an additional $20 million Australian dollars to compensate more than 86,000 customers who booked tickets on the so-called ghost flights. Qantas decided to make a settlement rather than defend itself in a lawsuit it had previously vowed to fight. Reporting, this has been Trisha Molina, SMNI News.
Filipinos are well-known foodies. Through food, we can express ourselves and showcase our rich culture. And when it comes to Filipino cuisine, we're talking about its unmatched taste and flavor. Let's visit one of the most famous flavor enhancers in Filipino dining tables with Wela Abunda.
This is first time to receive the media to our factory. So it is a very delightful moment for us. Please enjoy. Thank you very much.
For the first time, the doors of one of the most trusted names in food flavoring, Ajinomoto, were opened to the media. Since it's a food production facility, health checks are a must. We must ensure our bodies are clean and in good health condition before entering the factory. Now, let's start a factory tour at Ajinomoto Philippines in Giginto, Bulacan. Our first stop was their raw material storage. According to Ajinomoto Deputy Factory Manager Pongbal Bin, who also served as our tour guide, almost all of their raw materials are imported, although they also have local supplies such as sugar and iodized salt.
At this point, we are not allowing anyone to sell for any particular box.
Here in their 5-story building, taking pictures and videos is prohibited. Everyone must wear PPE and a mask and undergo air showers and other strict sanitation and safety procedures. Because this building is where every drop of Ajinomoto products is made, from preparation, mixing, grinding, sieving, packaging, and quality control. According to Koichi Ozaki, president of Ajinomoto Philippines Corporation, over 80% of Filipino households use their brands. Indeed, they've become good partners for our beloved mothers who love to prepare good food for their family. Throughout our factory tour, Ozaki emphasized the important Japanese culture that Filipinos can adopt, including what they call the 5S method, which translates to sort, set in order, shine, standardize, and sustain.
We call 5S, which is derived from a Japanese method, how to keep up cleanliness always. So this concept of 5S is well penetrated in the factory. I think one of our strong point or differentiation between another company in factory management is how to keep cleanliness, and also most important our policy is always safety comes first. Always safety comes first, and how to realize high quality product production.
And of course, the factory tour wouldn't be complete without tasting the food seasoned with Ajinomoto.
Thank you so much. We may now enter ATF Bulacan's new canteen.
Here at their new canteen, Aji Panda Diner, we learned that every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, they serve free vegetables to their factory workers using Aji Ginisa less sodium. This is also part of their ongoing Bawasin campaign or salt intake reduction. According to the Philippine Dietary Reference Intake by DOST Food and Nutrition Research Institute, the recommended salt intake should not exceed 1 teaspoon per day or equivalent to 2,000 milligrams of sodium. Like Ajinomoto, do you also believe that food doesn't need to be salty to be tasty?
Here is Ajinomoto Philippines Corporation. Everyone, please eat well, live well.
For God and my beloved Philippines, Wela Abunda, SMNI News.
Up Next, the Philippine inflation rate slightly quickens to 3.8% in April, although the price of rice has slightly dropped according to the Philippine Statistics Authority. However, an agriculture group said that ordinary citizens do not feel such drop in rice prices. And in other news, Japan and Germany are set to hold their first ever joint land forces drills set to take place next year. We'll find out more about this later on. Newsline World will be back after the break.
Problema nyo, itawag kay Panelo. Ikaw ba'y may suliranin na may kinalaman sa mga ahensya ng ating pamahalaan? Inihahandog ng SMNI ang programang makakapiling ninyo sa araw-araw na maaring ninyong maging daingan. Tampok ang dating Chief Legal Counsel ng nakaraang Pangulo, ang veteranong abogado na si Attorney Salvador Sal Panelo.
Bishops.
Tulong at payo tagapamagitan sa ating mga lingkod bayan. Problema nyo, itawag kay Panelo. Lunes hanggang Biyernes, alas 9 hanggang alas 10 ng umaga. Dito lamang sa SMNI. Ang totoong boses ng bayan.
Magandang umaga Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao. Maayong buntag mga kapartner. Magandang araw sa buong mundo.
Magandang araw Pilipinas. Ito ang Pulso ng Bayan.
Hihimayin ang mga pangunahing issue sa ating bayan. Susuriin ang mga kinakailangang malaman ng taong bayan. Aalamin ang pulso ng bawat Pilipino sa mga pangyayari sa ating lipunan. Pulso ng Bayan, alas 7 hanggang alas 9 ng umaga, tuwing Lunes hanggang Biyernes. Kasama ang spokes ng Bayan, Attorney Harry Roque, Admar Vilado at Jade Calabroso. Dito lang sa SMNI.
Welcome to SMNI. You're watching Business and Politics. I'm Dante Klinkang.
Today's world can be described by the acronym VUCA, which stands for volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous. And yet, being immobilized by fear is not an option. How will captains of industry navigate the course ahead? And what policy assistance will they get from the leaders in government? Watch SMNI as it tackles these and other important questions of the day. On Business and Politics, hosted by Dante Klinkang II, Chairman and CEO of the Manila Times. New episodes featuring corporate and political leaders air every Saturday. Prime time at 7 p.m. Only here on SMNI. Truth that matters.
Germany will temporarily recall its ambassador in Moscow following allegations Russian hackers targeted German officials and military databases last year. Trisha Molina has the details.
The Foreign Ministry of Germany decided to call back German Ambassador Alexander Lambsdorff from the Russian capital for consultations in Berlin. This came after Foreign Minister Annalena Baerbock last week accused Russian cyber espionage group APD-28 of orchestrating the wave of cyber attacks against government officials and military databases in Germany last year. According to Baerbock, the hacking group, also known as Fancy Bear, is controlled by the Russian military intelligence service GRU. The group, allegedly linked to numerous cyber attacks worldwide, has compromised email accounts belonging to executives of Germany's Social Democratic Party. The Foreign Office in Berlin said they are taking the matter seriously. The German ambassador will return to Russia after a week of consultations. Reporting, this has been Trisha Molina, SMNI News.
The United States and its NATO allies deployed hundreds of fighter jets to protect Israel from Iran's retaliatory attack last month, according to a high-ranking military commander from Iran. Melchizedek Cadiz reports.
NATO and the United States sent at least 240 fighter jets to shield Israel from Iran's retaliatory strikes against Israeli-occupied territories last month. This was the revelation made by Major General Gholam Ali Rashid, commander of the Qatam Al-Anbiya Central Headquarters, during a recent interview with a local newspaper. Iran's revenge mission against Israel, known as Operation True Promise, was launched on April 13th, in which the Iranian armed forces launched dozens of explosive drones and fired missiles at the occupied territories. The attack was in response to an airstrike that destroyed Iran's embassy complex in the Syrian capital of Damascus on April 1st. The airstrike blamed on Israel killed 16 people, including 8 officers of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, or IRGC, and 2 Syrian civilians. The top commander said Iran's powerful missiles were able to pass through the defense shields set up by the US and NATO and damage 2 military centers in Israel. He added that 80% of the projectiles deployed by the Islamic Republic would have pounded Israel during the April 13th attack, if not for the intervention made by the American, British, and French troops. Additionally, Iran claimed the axis of resistance expanded through the establishment of a militia group based in Bahrain called the Al-Ashtar Brigades, or AAB. The militia allegedly targeted an Israeli transportation company called Trucknet Enterprises in the southern Israeli port of Eilat on April 27th and has launched terrorist attacks against the government of Bahrain in the past. The credibility of Iran's claims about the Bahrain-based group being part of the resistance has not been independently verified. Reporting from Kuwait, I am Melchizedek Cadiz, your global citizen correspondent for God and for our beloved country, the Philippines.
The United Arab Emirates started trade talks with New Zealand following similar negotiations with other countries. Gratero Omori has the details.
New Zealand's Trade Minister Todd McClay met Dr. Thani bin Ahmed Al Ziodi, the UAE's Minister of State for Foreign Trade, in Dubai, with a joint declaration of intent confirming the agreement signed after the talks. The Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement, or CEPA, is an exciting phase for New Zealand, as it will allow the country tariff-free access to markets in the Gulf region. The UAE is New Zealand's largest trade partner in the Middle East, with non-oil trade between the countries reaching $764.5 million in 2023. The trade talks with New Zealand happened days after similar negotiations with India, Ukraine, and the Philippines. Reporting from Dubai, I'm Gratero Omar, your global citizen correspondent for SMNI News Channel.
The new foreign minister of Thailand denied the government's involvement following reports that the country's former prime minister engaged in secret meetings with opposition groups in Myanmar. Chatmoko Pisamay goes on with the report.
Former Prime Minister Thaksin Shinawat's engagement with Myanmar is personal and not related to the government of Thailand, according to Thai Foreign Minister Maris Sangyampong. Maris, who was officially declared as the country's new foreign minister last week, made the statement following reports of Thaksin's recent meetings with various opposition groups in neighboring Myanmar to resolve the armed conflict. Shinawat's diplomatic efforts involved meetings with representatives of the Kachin National Organization, the National Unity Government, the Chan State Reconstruction Council, and the Chan State Army. The new foreign minister said that Myanmar's opposition groups approaching Thaksin help due to his connections is something done in the personal capacity and does not represent diplomatic efforts for the government of Thailand. Additionally, Prime Minister Sethar Thavisin has not acknowledged Thaksin's diplomatic moves, but said he believes the former Prime Minister is doing it out of goodwill. It can be remembered that former Foreign Minister Parnpree Phinthanukorn resigned last week after a cabinet reshuffle removed him as Deputy Prime Minister. Parnpree, who played a key role in securing the release of Thai hostages in Gaza last year, as well as overseeing diplomatic efforts in Myanmar, explained it will be difficult to effectively perform his duties as Foreign Minister after getting removed as the Deputy Prime Minister. The Prime Minister said the government is working on providing humanitarian aid for Myanmar and wants peace for its neighboring country under ASEAN rules. Reporting from Thailand, I'm Shatmongkol Bisamaikoson, your Global Citizens correspondent for SM9 News Channel.
Sri Lanka was forced to retain its $50 rate for a visa fee after its plan to charge foreigners twice the amount earned massive criticisms. Anissa de Guzman reports.
Tourism leaders voiced their disapproval after the government doubled the fee to obtain a visa for foreigners entering Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka's new visa fee was introduced on April 17. Priced at $100 for a 30-day visit, the new fee made it the most expensive in Asia. The new visa system earned criticisms from local tourism stakeholders, forcing the cabinet to return the fee to $50. Lawmakers and stakeholders were concerned the higher visa costs would discourage foreign tourists from visiting Sri Lanka and force them to explore neighboring countries. Meanwhile, Sri Lanka granted visa-free entry for tourists from India, the country's top market, as well as Thailand, China, Russia, Japan, and Malaysia. Sri Lanka, an island nation of about 22 million people, aims to reach the 2.5 million tourist arrivals target at the end of 2024. Anissa de Guzman, your Global Citizen correspondent for God and Our Beloved Country, the Philippines.
In Brazil, the rains may have abated. However, the southern part of the country is still grappling with relentless flooding in Rio Grande do Sul, leaving thousands displaced and infrastructure devastated. And in response, Brazil will deploy the largest warship in Latin America to aid the state in its rescue and relief operations. Natalia Prado with the details.
Brazilian Navy is set to use the largest warship in Latin America to assist the rescue operations and transporting of supplies to Rio Grande do Sul state. The ship will carry 8 medium and small boats and 2 mobile water treatment stations. According to Brazilian Navy, its fleet flagship, the multi-purpose aircraft carrier Atlântico, will depart Rio de Janeiro's naval base on Wednesday, Brazil time, to Rio Grande do Sul. Since the heavy rain started last week, the death toll has increased to 85, and more than 150,000 people have been displaced from their homes in the said state. The Argentine government has extended assistance to Brazil due to the tragedy in Rio Grande do Sul. Additionally, the Uruguayan government will dispatch a helicopter and crew from its air force to aid Brazil's rescue efforts. Meanwhile, Venezuela's Chancellor, representing President Nicolás Maduro, expressed solidarity and support for the Brazilian people. Reporting, this has been Natalia Prado, your Global Citizen correspondent for SM9 News Channel.
When we come back, the Maisug Peace Rally pushed through in Dumaguete City despite the intense pressure. Former President Rodrigo Duterte asserts the Bill of Rights and that local governments do not have the power to prohibit such gatherings as it is protected by the Constitution. And meanwhile, the former president also conveys his trust in Senator Bato de la Rosa's investigation into the PDEA leaks. In Tuesday's hearing, actress Maricel Soriano, who was also linked in illegal drug use alongside Marcos Jr., finally speaks up to address the issue. Newsline World will return.
Tatanungin, kahit saang aspeto, gusto ko garantisado. Metikuloso akong tao, kaya gusto ko lahat maayos at sigurado. Lahat quality, yung hindi ako makukompromiso, pero sulit ang presyo. Ganyan ang clean fuel, kaya dito, panatag ang loob ko. Full-tank. Kung gusto mo ng dekalidad na gasolina pero sulit ang halaga, mag-clean fuel ka.
Abangan ang Banateros tuwing Martes at Huwebes, live dito lang sa SMNI.
Yan ang Banateros, walang inuurungan. Pag tama palakpakan, pag mali ay babanatan.
Welcome to SMNI. You're watching Business and Politics. I'm Dante Klinkang.
Today's world can be described by the acronym VUCA, which stands for volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous. And yet, being immobilized by fear is not an option. How will captains of industry navigate the course ahead? And what policy assistance will they get from the leaders in government? Watch SMNI as it tackles these and other important questions of the day. On Business and Politics, hosted by Dante Klinkang II, Chairman and CEO of the Manila Times. New episodes featuring corporate and political leaders air every Saturday. Prime time at 7 p.m. Only here on SMNI. Truth that matters.
Problema nyo, itawag kay Panelo. Ikaw ba'y may suliranin na may kinalaman sa mga ahensya ng ating pamahalaan? Inihahandog ng SMNI ang programang makakapiling ninyo sa araw-araw na maaring ninyong maging daingan. Tampok ang dating Chief Legal Counsel ng nakaraang Pangulo, ang veteranong abogado na si Attorney Salvador Sal Panelo.
Bishops.
Tulong at payo tagapamagitan sa ating mga lingkod bayan. Problema nyo, itawag kay Panelo. Lunes hanggang Biyernes, alas 9 hanggang alas 10 ng umaga. Dito lamang sa SMNI. Ang totoong boses ng bayan.
Magandang umaga Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao. Maayong buntag mga kapartner. Magandang araw sa buong mundo.
Magandang araw Pilipinas. Ito ang Pulso ng Bayan.
Hihimayin ang mga pangunahing issue sa ating bayan. Susuriin ang mga kinakailangang malaman ng taong bayan. Aalamin ang pulso ng bawat Pilipino sa mga pangyayari sa ating lipunan. Pulso ng Bayan, alas 7 hanggang alas 9 ng umaga, tuwing Lunes hanggang Biyernes. Kasama ang spokes ng Bayan, Attorney Harry Roque, Admar Vilando at Jade Calabroso. Dito lang sa SMNI.
Kung akong tatanungin, kahit saang aspeto, gusto ko garantisado. Metikuloso akong tao, kaya gusto ko lahat maayos at sigurado. Lahat quality, yung hindi ako makakompromiso, pero sulit ang presyo. Ganyan ang clean fuel, kaya dito, panatag ang loob ko.
Magandang umaga po, sir. Full tank po.
Full tank. Gusto mo ng dekalidad na gasolina pero sulit ang halaga, mag-clean fuel ka.
Abangan ang Banateros tuwing Martes at Huwebes, live dito lang sa SMNI.
Yan ang Banateros, walang inuurungan. Pag tama palakpakan, pag mali ay babanatan. Yan ang
Welcome to SMNI. You're watching Business and Politics. I'm Dante Klinkang.
Today's world can be described by the acronym VUCA, which stands for volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous. And yet, being immobilized by fear is not an option. How will captains of industry navigate the course ahead? And what policy assistance will they get from the leaders in government? Watch SMNI as it tackles these and other important questions of the day. On Business and Politics, hosted by Dante Klinkang II, Chairman and CEO of the Manila Times. New episodes featuring corporate and political leaders air every Saturday. Prime time at 7 p.m. Only here on SMNI. Truth that matters.
The Philippine Statistics Authority, or PSA, has recorded a third consecutive month of accelerating inflation rate or price increases of goods and services in the country under the Marcos administration. Meanwhile, according to an agri-group, ordinary Filipinos do not feel the slight decrease in rice prices. Sheena Torno has the details.
As the prices of goods and services in the country continue to increase, Filipinos find themselves working harder to provide for their daily needs. This follows the Philippine Statistics Authority recent announcement of another uptick in the inflation rate, reaching 3.8% in April compared to 3.7% in March. The PSA reports that this signifies the third consecutive month of inflation rate acceleration in the country. The main reason for the acceleration in inflation in April 2024 was the rapid rise in the prices of food and non-alcoholic beverages, including vegetables, tubers, among others. Despite the acceleration in headline inflation, the agency said there was a slight decrease in rice inflation or movement in rice prices in the Philippines. From 24.4% rice inflation, it slowed down to 23.9% in April of the year due to the decreasing price of rice in the world market.
Ang nakita namin, bumaba ba ng konti ang world price ng rice. Nag-peak siya noong January 2024 and then may pagbaba noong Feb and March. Konti lang. So, but the trajectory is that 2 months na siya dun sa world prices bumaba. So this might have impact doon sa pag-decline din ng presyo ng bigas ng konti.
Based on their monitoring for well-milled rice, the average price was 56 pesos and 42 centavos per kilo in April, down from a higher 56 pesos and 44 centavos per kilo in March. The average price of special rice also decreased to 64 pesos and 68 centavos per kilo last month from 64 pesos and 75 centavos per kilo in March. Rice is the staple food on the tables of Filipinos. As they say, for Filipinos, rice is life. However, according to some agriculture groups, there was indeed a slight decrease in the price of rice in the country in April. Regrettably, ordinary citizens failed to perceive this change as rice remained costly, exceeding to 50 pesos per kilo.
Binaba na kasi mga 1 or 2 pesos lang. So, nasa 50 pesos plus level pa rin ng bigas eh. Pakatapos lang nung harvest natin, so medyo mahal din ang bili ng palay sa mga magsasaka. So, nare-reflect yan sa rice prices. But at the same time, yung pumapasok na imported rice, mahal din. Kaya hindi nga na-push down yung retail prices.
The Federation of Fee Farmers Cooperatives is also not convinced by the statement of House Speaker Martin Romualdez that there will be a 30 pesos per kilo rise in some areas by July. They are worried that the government might incur losses because the buying price of palay is now high, ranging from 23 pesos to 30 pesos per kilo. As a result, they urge the government to refrain from raising the hopes of Filipinos with promises of cheap rice.
I don't see why they keep on doing that. Nagko-commit sila ng mahirap gawin. No? Mapapahiya lang sila. No? And pag binanggit mo kasi yan, hindi nakakalimutan ng tao. Eh. Then, sana if they said ngayon, 50 ngayon, papababaeng namin na ng 40 to 45. Medyo achievable pa yon. But 30 doesn't add up eh. Imposible.
Meanwhile, an economist warned about the plan to return the mandate of selling cheap rice to the National Food Authority or NFA. Dr. Michael Bato said that the NFA was not effective before because rice prices did not go down. Moreover, corruption may return once the mandate is given back to the National Food Authority.
Kapag inamyendahan ng rice tarification law, ayon dun sa nakita ko na kagustuhan ng ating mga leader, halimbawa na ibalik sa NFA yung supply management powers nito. Ang nakikita ko dito is babalik muli yung graft and corruption sa ahensya na yan. Yun talaga yung pinaka-main concern. Kasi nung panahon na nandyan ang NFA, nakita natin na maraming mga iskandalo, maraming mga issue tungkol sa graft and corruption sa ahensya na yan. Nung panahon na nandyan ang NFA, nung before rice tarification law, maraming instances na tumaas ang presyo ng bigas even with the NFA there. Kumbaga, nandyan yung NFA, sila nagmamanage ng supply, pero tumataas pa rin yung presyo. So, ibig sabihin, limited yung nagiging role ng NFA. Even if bigay mo sa kanya yung mga powers niya kagaya noon, nakikita ko na hindi siya effective,
For God and for my beloved Philippines, this has been Sheena Torno, SMNI News.
Protesters gathered at the Senate to demand President Bongbong Marcos undergo a drug test and step down. The demonstration coincides with the second Senate hearing regarding the PDEA leaks linking PBBM to illegal drugs. Carlo de la Peña will give us the details.
Posters adorned the surroundings alongside tarpaulins and placards carrying nearly identical messages during the peak of the Marcos Resign rally outside the Senate in Pasay City. Led by the Marcos Resign movement, participants voiced their dissatisfaction with President Bongbong Marcos' leadership. The rally coincided with the second Senate hearing on the issue of PDEA leaks, where the name of Marcos Jr. is also involved in the alleged use of illegal drugs.
Gusto lang naman natin na the truth should come out. So, yun lang naman po. And then, of course, Marcos Resign movement, we are humbly asking our president because nga doon sa alleged drug use, no? Hindi naman talaga papayag ang taong bayan na masabi ang isang pangulo natin ay isang drug user. So, yun ang nababahala mga taong bayan sa ganong sitwasyon, ano? Nakita natin yung interview niya kahapon, pinagtawanan lang tayo.
Among the protesters was Roger, who traveled from Baguio City, lent his support to the rally. Here, he expressed his dismay with the government under the leadership of Marcos.
Meron ba bang pakinggan ng ating mga kabataan? Dahil ibinoto natin ang ating presidente, hindi natin alam na gumagamit pala siya ng pinagbabawal na gamot. Bangag siya. So, hindi, ang ating mga kabataan, the future of our country ay malalagay sa alanganin.
Eduardo, another rally attendee, challenged the president. As an ordinary citizen, he believes that PBBM should undergo a drug test to determine whether he is using drugs or not.
Pinapaabot namin sa ating presidente na hinahamon namin siya na magpa-drug test upang malaman natin ang katotohanan at sinusuportahan din namin ang ating Senator Bato na maipalabas ang katotohanan dahil tayo ay hangad natin na itong ating bansang Pilipinas ay magkaroon ng isang pamamahala na may pagmamahal sa bayan at sa ating mga kapwang Pilipino.
Meanwhile, these women also attended the rally because they had lost hope in the promises made by the administration, especially for their impoverished households. They say their belt-tightening has become too much due to the high prices of the goods these days.
Bagang lahat, gusto ko lang may palala sa mahal nating Pangulo na ibinoto namin siya sa kadahilanan. Unang-una, ang pangako niya sa mga mahihirap na ang bigas ay ibababa niya ng 20 pesos. Kung nasana, wala. Lalong tumataas ang presyo ng bigas kaya halos hindi na po makabili ang mga tao. Pati po kami ng pamilya ko naghihirap na po. Nananawagan po tayo sa ating gobyerno kasi ang nangyayari po ngayon ay hindi na po ito nakakatulong sa bansa, hindi na rin nakakatulong sa bawat individual na mga ordinaryo na namumuhay po. So nananawagan kami na yun nga, kung maaari, bumaba na rin siya sa posisyon. Ilagay yung dapat po para ayun, sumunod talaga sa dapat na para sa ikatutulong din po ng mga mamamayang Pilipino.
Many people who attended the rally said they held no regrets despite the sweltering heat under the sun. For them, what matters is that they have expressed and voiced their concerns to the government, which urgently needs to address the issues faced by the people like them who are struggling. They also hope to attain justice for the underprivileged, not just the wealthy, the politicians, and those in government who benefit from the power and money of the nation. For God and my beloved country, the Philippines, this has been Carlo de la Peña, SMNI News.
Our Muslim brothers and sisters have not held back in voicing their grievances against the current administration. The groups call for President Bongbong Marcos to step down. Almar Forsuelo with the report.
It's rare to see our Muslim brothers and sisters take to the streets, join rallies,
carry placards and shout their grievances against the government. But under the administration of President Bongbong Marcos, Muslim brothers and sisters have frequently been observed participating in such protests, exercising their right to voice their opinions and sentiments against the government. On May 7, Tuesday, various groups participated in a rally outside the Senate, concurrent with the second public hearing of the Senate Committee on Public Order and Dangerous Drugs, where Marcos Jr. is included in the investigation. The rally was spearheaded by the Marcos Resign movement. In an interview with SMNI News, Roland Ulamid, chairman of the MNLF Davao City, emphasized that our Muslim brothers and sisters remain undeterred and will continue to participate in rallies. He asserted that they stand united in demanding President Marcos Jr. to step down.
Gusto na naming sumali. Nanawagan na sila. Kung maaari, resign na daw ang ating presidente. Hindi na maawat ang mga tao kasi ano yan, narinig nila ang chant ng mga tao, Bongbong resign.
Nailin Mama and Maria Manto decided to join the rally of the Marcos Resign movement because they could no longer endure the hardships caused by the soaring prices. They are questioning the unfulfilled promises made by BBM during the campaign. They ask, where is the promise of cheap prices of rice?
Kasi po sobra na nakakainip na, sobra na. Nakakainip na yung pamamalakad ni Bibi. Hindi po namin ramdam. Saka ang taas po ng bilihin lahat. Lalo na po yung bigas. Hindi na po namin kayang bumili ng bigas na ganun po kamahal. Kasi yung pangako po niyang 20 pesos na bigas, wala pong natupad.
Pero ang gusto lang namin, gusto ng taong bayan, natupad din yung pinangako niya na yung kung siyang makaupo na mababa ang lahat ng bilihin. Pero hindi natupad yun. Yung halimbawa, yung bigas, sabi niya 20, ilalong tumaas may 70, may 80 po.
When asked about their thoughts on the president's avoidance of addressing his involvement in illegal drugs, this is what our Muslim brothers and sisters answered.
Siguro ayaw pa niyang maipit siya. Kaya umiiwas siya. Harapin niya ang hamon ng taong bayan. Ito, parami ang nananawagan.
Simple lang naman po yung kahilingan ng mga tao magpa-drug test po siya para doon po malalaman kung nagsasabi po talaga siya ng totoo. Nagsasabi po siya ng totoo na hindi siya addict. Kasi wala na po siyang lusot Halatang halata kahit wala na pong drug test. Makikita mo naman yung sa kilos niya at saka yung mga desisyon niya na paliko ng paliko.
Because President Marcos continues to avoid the issue, our Muslim brothers and sisters believe he is no longer capable of governing the country.
Sa tingin po namin, wala na po. Kasi ayaw niya magpag-drug test. Ibig sabihin, totoo ang sinasabi ng taong bayan na siya po ay addict.
According to the group, this is not the first nor last time they will hold such a rally until BBM steps down. For God and my beloved Philippines, Almar Forzuelo, SMNI News.
Actress Maricel Soriano attended the Senate Committee on Public Order and Dangerous Drugs hearing regarding the PDEA leaks. Valdivina Gracia with the report.
This was the scene right in front of the Senate today. Protesters holding placards shouting, and I quote, President Bongbong Marcos must resign. The protest coincides with the Senate Committee on Public Order and Dangerous Drugs investigation into the PDEA leaks involving confidential documents linking Marcos Jr. to illegal drug use. But even amidst the heated atmosphere outside the Senate, Senator Bato de la Rosa, chairman of the committee, seemed calm when questioning Maricel Soriano, allegedly associated with Marcos Jr. as a cocaine user based on PDEA documents. Soriano was summoned to verify the controversial document. In her statement, she admitted to owning the condo unit mentioned in the document.
May property ka ba sa Rockwell? Ikaw ba ang nagmamay-ari ng Unit 46-C Rizal Tower Building located at Rockwell, Barangay Poblacion, Makati City?
Opo.
Sa'yo yun?
Opo. Hanggang 2012 po, nabenta ko na ho yun. Wala na ako doon.
In the subsequent press briefing, Senator De La Rosa stated that Soriano's admission regarding the ownership of the controversial condo unit adds credence to the PDEA leaks documents.
that adds credence to the claim of Morales na siya talaga gumawa noon. Tama yung ginawa niya. Dahil inamin naman ni Maricel. Si Maricel ang subject doon. At saka si politician Bongbong Marcos. Dalawa sila ang subject doon. Tapos, ang address, yung unit, the same unit. At inaamin ni Maricel na sa kanya yung unit na yon. So that gives credence to the pre-ops na ginagawa ni Morales.
In relation to this, the senator apologized for not pressing Soriano further during questioning, noting her apparent nervousness.
Forgive me, patingin nyo, hindi ko masyadong nadidikdik si Maricel Soriano ha, kasi nakikita ko kasing very tense siya, nanginginig siya nung pagdating niya. Mamaya kung diniinan ko rin masyado yung questioning, hinimatay doon sa hearing natin, what will that make of me?
Finally, Senator Bato emphasized that he wouldn't dwell on Soriano and Marcos Jr.'s alleged drug use during his hearing. He explained that the investigation is focused on tightening security measures for sensitive and confidential information to prevent leaks. For God and my beloved country, the Philippines, this is Valdivina Gracia, SMNI News.
Former PDEA agent Jonathan Morales remains firm in his decision not to disclose the identity or gender of the confidential informant linking President Bongbong Marcos, actress Maricel Soriano, and others in illegal drugs. Morales asserts that revealing such information would pose grave danger to the informant. Jane Cornita has the story.
Hindi ko ilalaglag yung mismo pagkakakilanlan ng tao.
Former Philippine Drug Enforcement Agency or PDEA agent Jonathan Morales insists that he will not reveal the identity or any identifying information of the confidential informant involved in linking President Bongbong Marcos, actress Maricel Soriano, and several others in alleged drug-related activities dating back to 2012. This decision is based on a pre-operation report signed by Morales himself. During the second hearing of the Senate Committee on Public Order and Dangerous Drugs regarding the PDEA leaks, Senator Ronald Bato de la Rosa and Jinggoy Estrada repeatedly pressed Morales to reveal details about the confidential informant.
Are you just hesitant to break your code of honor, your relationship between you and the confidential informant, or talagang wala ka nang maalala? Kasi your reputation is at stake here.
Your Honor.
Your reputation is, as a resource person, is at stake here. Pag hindi mo ma-remember.
Ano ba? He or she? Your Honor. He or she? Babae, laki.
Morales emphasizes certainty that the informant's life would be endangered if he disclosed their gender.
Your Honor, yung mahirap kasi kung i-divulge ko yung kasarian ng confidential informant, Your Honor, makakanib ang buhay noon. Hindi po man sa, yung confidential informant, Your Honor, hindi po sa, talagang makakanib ang buhay, ma-identify kagad siya.
Despite this, Morales expressed willingness to disclose the informant's gender under certain conditions that do not violate the individual's constitutional rights.
Kung bibigyan niyo po ako ng pahintulot na i-reveal ko yung kasarian ng confidential informant na wala akong mababiolate na constitutional rights ng tao, ipagkakaloob ko po.
Morales repeatedly stated that he no longer remembers the name of the confidential informant involved in the PDEA leaks. This has been Jane Cornita, your citizen correspondent for God and my beloved country, the Philippines.
Amid the strong efforts to obstruct the Maisug Peace Rally, former President Rodrigo Duterte stresses the importance of the Bill of Rights and the right to peaceful assembly of Filipinos. Sara Santos with the report.
No law, walang batas, shall be passed. Walang batas na gagawin abridging the freedom of speech of expression. Yung gusto mong sabihin, marsya na mo, wala. O anong panahon, kung uulan ba o mainit, no law shall be passed abridging. Basta wag mong galawin the freedom of speech, of expression, and of the press and of the people that have the right to peaceably assemble.
Former President Rodrigo Duterte highlighted Article 3, Section 4 of the Bill of Rights during the Maisug Rally in Dumaguete City, Negros Oriental. This happened amidst heightened attempts to thwart the protest against the current administration, leading to the abrupt closure of the Freedom Park, originally designated for the Maisug Rally. Duterte stressed that the mentioned law safeguarding the Filipino people's rights to express their opinions freely is sacred. He also criticized the closure of the Freedom Park in Dumaguete.
Hindi sa syudad yan. Bakit mo sarahan at hindi magamit ng tao para makapagsalita kung ano ang gusto niya ang damdamin? What is reason na sinira mo ang park?
The Maisug Peace Rally has encountered obstacles on multiple occasions in the past. In April, the Maisug Rally planned in Bustos, Bulacan was called off after the landowner reportedly withdrew the venue's use and placed trailer trucks to block the way to the site. Similarly, the Maisug Peace Rally in Cebu has faced multiple attempts to halt it, yet it persisted and proceeded as planned. Duterte also took a dig at local governments that issue permits only to retract them later.
Ewan ko ba kung bakit, anong klaseng utak? Nagbigay ka na nga ng permit, binawi mo pa kasi tumawag ang Malacanang. Kung ganon ang style ng local government, napakawalang kwenta. Hanap kayo ng iba.
Meanwhile, the former president said others can file cases against local government units that refuse to allow the Maisug Peace Rally to take place if they wish to do so. For God and my beloved country, the Philippines, Sara Santos, SMNI News.
Former President Rodrigo Duterte expressed confidence and trust that the truth will come out in the Senate Committee on Public Order and Dangerous Drugs investigation into the PDEA leaks chaired by Senator Bato de la Rosa. Carlo de la Peña with a report.
Si Bato, ipangako ko sa iyo, ilalabas niya yan totoo kung ano man yung
Former President Rodrigo Duterte expressed full confidence in the Senate's probe regarding the PDEA leaks linking President Bongbong Marcos to illegal drug use. The Senate Committee on Public Order and Dangerous Drugs, chaired by Senator Bato de la Rosa, lead the investigation on the said issue. Former President Duterte said Senator de la Rosa is a sincere and competent government official. That is why he said he trusts that the truth will emerge in the investigation by the Senate Committee on Public Order and Dangerous Drugs regarding the PDEA leaks.
Magtiwala kayo kay Bato. PMA yan, mahusay na opisyal at straightforward sa buhay niya. Sa pinakamahabang panahon, he worked for me. He is good and he will be a leader of our country. He will aim to be a protector of the people's interest.
During Tuesday's session, the committee continued its investigation regarding the confidential PDEA documents. Actress Maricel Soriano participated in the hearing. One of the individuals implicated in the PDEA leaks issue allegedly alongside Marcos Jr., who purportedly uses cocaine. The actress denied being a cocaine user but admitted to owning the condo unit mentioned in the document allegedly involved in illegal drugs. It can be recalled that former President Rodrigo Duterte previously stated that Marcos Jr. is involved in illegal drug use and was included in the PDEA's narco list. For God and my beloved country, the Philippines, this has been Carlo de la Peña, SMNI News.
And before we end, may you be inspired with the words of the sun. Endurance is forged in the fires of adversity. And That's all for this edition. For more updates, you may visit sm9newschannel.com or follow us on our official social media accounts on Rumble, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. For God of my beloved country, the Philippines, I'm Angel Pastor, and this is Newsline World.
This is SMNI News Channel. Truth that matters.
Subscribe to SMNI News Channel and turn on the notification bell to keep you up to date. Also visit our official social media accounts and join our community on Viber and Telegram.